Hey group leaders, it's Pastor Kyle coming to you from our Christ Wesleyan campus. I'm just enjoying the outdoors at the moment with all the rain over the past few days. I'm sure that I know I've been itching to get outdoors, especially as an outdoorsman myself. But thanks for joining us here on this group leader newsletter tip for this month, and just a couple of updates for you. Things are starting to wind down for the year, as many of you are probably aware, and this is a good time to ask of whether or not it's time for your group to take a break during the summertime or to move on to something else. If you want some help navigating through that, feel free to connect with me. I'm happy to walk alongside of you in that. For some of the other groups, like our hiking group and our fishing group, you're just getting started here at this time of year. Another thing that I wanted to let you know about is we actually have a project coming up that I'm pretty excited about. We are going to take the wall that's by the Well Coffee House that doesn't have anything on it right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to put up poster mounts as well as business card holders specifically for people to see what groups are available and are actively recruiting to gain more members. So this is for groups, and it's going to be for serving opportunities, which I'm very excited about. And if you are a group that is actively in recruiting, please let me know. We'll make a poster for you there with some of that information, and then we'll create some business cards that match, so that way people can take your information and be able to connect with your group in that way. This is one of the ways that I want to bridge the paper gap that's there. Our online directory makes it really simple and easy for us to navigate through that, but not everybody is okay with navigating through a paper directory. So this is one of the ways that we still want to protect group leaders' information, while at the same time making sure that your info can go to the places that it needs to go to get people connected. So this monthly leader tip for you is a reminder about communication. A lot of you have been struggling with the communication side of things, and even myself included. It's just been hard to communicate with people nowadays. So what are some reminders that we can have that indicate to us we're communicating well from our end of things? So the first is to be consistent and to be frequent. What I mean by that is, if there's a consistent way that your group communicates, make sure that everybody knows that that's the way you do it, whether it's texting, emailing, church center messages, Facebook Messenger, fill in the blank. There's a million ways to connect with people nowadays. But if you say to your group, hey, we're communicating via text message, so please let us know if you're coming. Please let us know how we can be praying for you through your text messages. That's a great way to just clarify your expectations with your group and to make sure that everybody's on the same page. If you haven't heard from a group member in a while, there's a phrase that I like to use that's very helpful. When in doubt, reach out. If you don't know what's going on with that person, if you haven't heard from them in a while, then go ahead and reach out via the other methods that might be available for you. The three that I use here as a pastor at Christ Wesleyan are calling, emailing, and texting. Say if somebody wants to be baptized, first I'll send them an email and a text to let them know that I got their message and that I'm going to connect with them about baptism and how to get started with the process. If I don't hear back from them, I give them a call the next day. If I'm not able to get them via call, then what I'll do is I'll leave a voicemail, or maybe I might try again that day just to see if there's a better time to reach that person. If I haven't heard from them, 1 week later, I will send a reminder email and text, and possibly another call as well, depending on the timeline that I have. But if after that I'm unable to connect with that individual, that's when I would note that down. I actually write that down in our workflows, and then from there, I end up closing out the card. So that is something that you could do as a group leader. If you're trying to communicate with somebody, they're just not responding. Generally, I give them 3 times for a group. I'll reach out to them and ask them, like, if they're coming that first week, if they're coming that second week, and if they're coming that third week. If I don't hear anything back after that third week, then I close out the card. I just, after that, it's hard because you feel like you're saying no to somebody, but you also can't continually do that. Relationships are a two-way street, and small group leading is a two-way street too. So at some point you have to call it. But you'd also be surprised how many people end up turning out that second or third time because you stayed consistent with it too. Just a couple of things for you to know ahead of time. When it comes to people requesting to join your group, make sure to reach out to them at least within one day. That's my goal most of the time, is if somebody requests to join through Church Center, you're going to see that in two different mediums. You're going to see that happen in Church Center, and you're going to see it happen through your email. So if you see that somebody has requested to join your group, make sure to reach out to that person within that day, either via calling, texting, or emailing, whichever you're more comfortable with. Generally, I recommend reaching out via text and email first, and then giving them a call the next day if you haven't heard from them. Same as before. If you haven't heard from them, follow those same procedures, and if you just don't hear back from that person at all, you can remove their request at that point. But if they would love to join and they get connected, reaching out to them within that day really means a lot to the group members and can really help your chances in being able for them to connect well during that time. Well, thanks for joining us for this group leader newsletter tip. I hope that this was helpful to you. I know communication is a hard thing to do right now, but as long as you make sure that you are consistent, that you're clear with what method of communication you use, and that you make sure to handle it quickly, you can really help with those communication skills. I do have 3 more things for you just in the end of this letter, 3 quick notes. The first, you may have seen this in email and Church Center, but we are going to put a pause on our sermon leader guides for the time being to take that energy that we would normally use for those and instead see how we can create other kinds of content that can help to equip you as group leaders, to grow as group leaders. Thank you for filling out that survey that I sent out last month. We got a lot of really helpful information. So we're dreaming about how we can really create specific Bible studies, specific character studies, and seeing how we can best use our time in that area. The second is we have recorded our last 2 videos for the Navigating Conversations workshop. They're currently in color correction because we use 2 different cameras. One is a very expensive camera, and then the other one is this camera. So we have to match them color-wise, otherwise it'll look weird. So it is currently in that phase, and with Easter and such, we just got behind on that project a little bit, but know that those videos are coming very soon. I just need to edit them after I get the colored corrected versions, and then I'll be sending you out those very quickly. Last but not least, one of the things that I love to do is to thank you for what you've given here as group leaders here at CWC. So keep an eye out for a thank you event that's coming up in the month of June, and then we're gonna have group leader trainings again in July and August. This will be a mandatory training for group leaders, but you only have to come to one of them. So either July or August, we're gonna get that set up as soon as possible, and as soon as I know that that's the case, I'll be sending you those dates and that information. Thanks again for all that you do here at Christ Wesleyan, and once again, if there's anything I can do to help you, feel free to reach out via the group leader newsletter, by calling and texting 570-273-0088, or you can email me at kyle.roberts@cwc.life. Thanks so much, and have a great weekend.